Holocaust Remembrance Day ends tonight, a day to promise to never forget the mass murder of millions carried out by the Nazis. But with Holocaust survivors growing older, what will Holocaust education look like in 10 years? CBS 2's Marissa Perlman in Skokie, outside the Illinois Holocaust Museum, with one project. Marissa.
Erica, some are calling this project 3G, which essentially means children and grandchildren of Holocaust survivors will take responsibility for bearing witness to the Holocaust and sharing it. It's happening here at the museum. They're training families about how to learn and tell stories.
We were told when to go back into our barracks. We were told when the lights were out.
At the Illinois Holocaust Museum, Chicago resident Fritzi Frischel tells her story of surviving Auschwitz, a slave labor camp.
This became my family. These women were my family.
But Fritzi died at 91 in 2021. This is an interactive hologram of Fritzi, where you can continue to ask her questions. Here, her story lives on.
It's the intention of the survivors to educate, not about the atrocity, but about their stories, and to show you what they went through, and to hope that you learn and are inspired to be a better upstander within your community.
Allie Block tours us around the museum. Every artifact comes from a Midwest Holocaust survivor. A virtual reality experience takes you to concentration camps, guided by the survivors who lived through them.
We won't have our survivors forever. What can that next generation do?
Ask the questions of family members that we know not only were in the Holocaust, but in any major historical event.
Kelly Zaney says the museum is now training descendants of survivors to share stories, fulfilling the promise to never forget and also never again. She says it's more pressing now as the number of anti-Semitic incidents across the state has increased 15% over the past year. Kelly says this kind of history can never be repeated.
But I think what education can allow us to do is understand the Holocaust is one of the ultimate examples of what happens when we see unchecked hatred and bigotry, run amok.
And the latest example of anti-Semitism just 10 miles away from here in Glencoe and Highland Park, where anti-Semitic hate flyers have been found on neighbors' driveways. The mayor there saying they will not tolerate this. Police and the FBI are investigating. Outside of the Illinois Holocaust Museum, Marissa Perlman, CBS 2 News.